Innovation. It's the Tile Style sale. In stock now and ready for you at Tile Style, Ballymount Retail Centre and tilestyle.ie.
Looking for a getaway break? Look to County Louth. Located on Ireland's ancient east, under an hour from Dublin and Belfast, visit Louth for outdoor adventures, historical attractions, festivals, top-class accommodation, blue flag beaches and miles of mountain and coastal walks. And to really whet your appetite, savour the mouth-watering delights on our new Sea Louth Scenic Seafood Trail. Keep discovering Louth for a warm welcome and memories to last a lifetime. Plan your trip today at sealouth.ie or visit louth.ie.
You want financing to grow your business? You want to borrow, not beg. Move forward, not jump through hoops. You want it your way, not their way. You want financing fast, not the slow no. Is that too much to ask? Not if you ask us. We're Linked Finance. Just simple, fast business loans with a decision in 24 hours. Go to linkedfinance.com for our lowest rates under the government's COVID-19 credit guarantee scheme. Linked Finance. What business wants. Terms and conditions apply.
Your chance to win big. NewsTalk's Cash Machine.
We opened the lines once again this morning for your chance to win big with our new game, NewsTalk's Cash Machine. Today there was €6,789.10 in the cash machine. We had no winner. Person picked at random from those who entered didn't answer just after 3 o'clock. So the €6,789.10 rolls over until tomorrow, when we'll be adding even more cash. So tune in to NewsTalk Breakfast, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we'll tell you exactly how much you could win. Best of luck with that.
Off the ball. This is NewsTalk.
And you're welcome back. So Ireland away to Azerbaijan on Saturday. It's fair to say Callum Robinson fairly emphatically grabbed the back pages and a few front pages this morning with his press conference yesterday. He was asked about the COVID vaccine.
My honest opinion would be it's your choice. Like, I wouldn't be to say everyone should be vaccinated or you shouldn't get vaccinated. I think it's your personal choice. If you want to be vaccinated, then go do it. But if you don't want to, it is what it is. It's everyone's choice. I can't tell people to get it and I can't tell people not to.
What's your personal choice, Callum? Have you decided to get vaccinated?
I haven't been vaccinated yet, no. So that's my choice at this moment in time.
Some people might think that's unusual given your own personal health experience.
Yeah, of course. As I said, it's obviously annoying that I've caught it twice, but I haven't been vaccinated. Further down the line, I could change my mind and want to do it, but at this moment in time, I haven't been vaccinated. No.
Do you mind if I ask you why you didn't do that?
I just haven't done it. I think, as I said to you man here, it's your personal choice, and my choice at this moment in time, I haven't been vaccinated. I know, as you said, there's managers and people that will want you to do it, which is right in their way of what they think, but everyone has their choice and what they want to do. I wouldn't force it on people to do it or not. It's your choice, it's your body.
So that was Callum Robinson speaking yesterday, and then Stephen Kenny was speaking to the media as well, and naturally enough he was asked about Robinson's comments.
I accept the point, but I don't, it maybe not necessarily be blasé. It could be, a strongly held opinion, and we may not agree with the opinion. I think I'm double vaccinated myself. Of course, ideally we'd like everyone. I sort of trust the medical experts. I'm not an expert myself in that field, far from it. I trust the medical experts, and they recommend that that it gets done and it makes it a safer environment for everyone. But we're not in a position that we can insist on it, and we have to respect individuals' rights as well, and that's something that we, that I have to learn to live with. There are various theories that people have, and and so forth, and you might not agree with them, but that's people have a point of view sometimes, and that's where it is. I think it'd be quite a radical viewpoint to just say, right, whoever's not vaccinated is not being selected in the future. I'm not aware of anyone who's done that in any sport at the moment. So for me to just come and decide that would be extremely radical.
So that was Stephen Kenny. Very happy to say Professor Christine Loscher of DCU is with us. Hi, Christine. Ooh.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, we have you now. Sorry, bit of a delay on the line. I think we'll do our best with it. So it's difficult really to say too much about Callum Robinson and his reasons for not having the vaccine. He was asked why and he said, I just haven't. That was about as much detail as he wanted to go into. Stephen Kenny alluded, not speaking specifically of Robinson, but he did allude to myths, was what he described it as. Virility came up. So you might give us a sense of some of these myths. I mean, generally the uptake has been pretty good here in the general population. Football dressing rooms at the moment seem to be an exception.
Yeah, so I think two of the key myths around COVID vaccination that I think have been targeted very much at young people have been around the issue of fertility and virility. So initially there was a huge outcry about the vaccine and potential fertility issues. And I think what's really important is that people understand where those kind of pieces of misinformation came from. And really that misinformation was, if you get the COVID vaccine and you produce antibodies to the spike protein, those antibodies can attack proteins that are involved in your fertility. And there was absolutely no scientific basis for this. But of course, social media picked it up and the anti-vaxxers picked it up. And then I suppose people stopped looking for where the information came from and just took the information at face value. So I think that's the first myth that has absolutely no truth. And I think what's really ironic about that myth is that if that was true and the antibodies that you get from vaccination to spike protein do attack your fertility system, then if you got COVID infection and got the same antibodies, then it would also attack your fertility. And the anti-vaxxers never said anything about the COVID infection impacting on your fertility. So I think that should give people a lot of reassurance that there is no scientific evidence to support an impact on the vaccine on your fertility. The most recent one is around virility. And this is some of the time what happens is anecdotal evidence is what people look at. So somebody comes out on a social media platform and says, well, you know, somebody I know got the vaccine and it had a negative effect on them. And in this case, they were saying that it actually made them impotent. And one of the things that happens with social media is that people take that at face value, that single event was absolutely, first of all, that it's true, and second of all, that it's associated with a vaccination. And I think that, there's been 6.3 billion doses of COVID vaccine given throughout the world, and these are not side effects that have come and been proven scientifically to be true. So I think that the misinformation is because social media really doesn't encourage people to look for where the information came from.
Like in some respects, and not least with Robinson, under virtually no other circumstances that I can remember would a sports person be asked about their medical history and then be talked about incessantly for the following 24 hours, because in the main that's very, very private. There is, though, a public aspect to vaccination and it working the world over. So in terms of what it does, say within Irish camp, for instance, there are very pragmatic issues for Stephen Kenny, i.e. if Robinson is now a close contact of somebody with COVID, he just can't play the match, whereas if he was vaccinated, he would be able to play the match. So that's an immediate plus point for Stephen Kenny. What about in terms of, things like to what extent it does reduce the chances of you getting the virus, because Callum Robinson's had it twice. And then the other thing, which a bunch of people will text in and say, well, you can still have the vaccine and have the virus and pass it on to somebody else. Like, to what extent does it lessen your odds of you passing it on to somebody else in a dressing room?
Yeah, so it's difficult when you're dealing with groups of people, some of who have been vaccinated and some who haven't. I think the fact that he's had it twice would possibly point to the fact that maybe the first time he didn't have a particularly good immune response after the virus, which means he didn't actually have a great deal of protection and was unlucky enough to get it again. And that may mean that his immune response the second time won't give him very, very much protection in the future. And unfortunately, we're not really in a position to be able to tap in and measure our immune responses all the time. So we don't really know how much coverage we have from natural infection, even though we know we have some level of protection. In terms of mixing groups of people that are vaccinated and unvaccinated, Vaccination protects you from a severe form of the illness and any complications that go with it. That's the primary goal of vaccination, is to reduce severe illness and deaths. If you are vaccinated, the more that you are exposed to people who are potentially carrying the virus, the higher chance you have of eventually getting a breakthrough infection. So if you constantly have a group of people, some of who are not vaccinated and therefore have a higher risk of carrying the virus, if you expose vaccinated individuals to them consistently, there's a higher chance that you'll get a breakthrough infection. And this is what the potential situation is for teams of players that actually have both on each team, is that the constant mixing puts everybody at higher risk for breakthrough infection.
Right. These dressing rooms, it's an interesting phenomenon, and it's hard to nail down reasons as to why it's happening. So generally, the BBC understands in English football outside of the Premier League, back in August, only 18% of players were vaccinated. That has jumped to 49% in September, which is a sizable jump. In the Premier League then, the top 20 clubs, only 7 of those top 20 have over 50% of players vaccinated. And again, it seems, which is the interesting thing, Christine, to fall along group dynamics. So, for instance, Wolves, 100% vaccination, Leeds United, 99%, Liverpool, 99%. And yet, as I mentioned, 7 clubs below 50%. There's a quote from a club doctor in the Daily Mail who says, "It's very frustrating and it's hard to know what to do as the conspiracy theories have really taken hold in some dressing rooms. We've got senior players, intelligent men, coming out with all sorts of nonsense and they won't be budged. One of them told me he didn't need the vaccine because he could boost his immunity by taking vitamins. Some of the stuff they're reading and believing on the internet's incredible. Players are saying it'll make them infertile, that it's part of a plot involving Bill Gates, the pandemic is just propaganda. The real problem is also that they're polluting the minds of younger players." End quote. And that's what the clubs seem to be facing, these dynamics, senior players, herd mentality. And ironically, by the way, these men trust their doctors implicitly with almost every other aspect of what they're putting into their bodies.
Yeah, I think the point you made there about that they have a belief that their immune system is really powerful, and that because they are elite athletes and generally very healthy and mind their nutrition and mind their diet, that they have a self-belief that their immune system is really powerful. And, you know, all the anti-vaxxers will say, once you have an immune system that's really healthy, you'll be able to fight the virus and you won't have any complications. And there's lots of evidence in young, healthy males and females that, you know, thought they were healthy and got the virus and actually had severe complications, or else got long COVID and actually suffered and are still suffering months later. And I think it's very difficult to understand how healthy your immune system is at any point. Obviously, good nutrition and exercise is good for you, but elite athletes have very intense exercise. And that intense exercise, we do know, is scientifically proven to suppress your immune response. And actually, they're more susceptible to viruses in general. And that is a scientific fact. So if you're not vaccinated and you're an elite athlete, you'll likely have a higher risk of actually getting the COVID-19 virus. And if you are immunosuppressed because of the intensity of your exercise, it is highly likely that you might get a very severe infection and you might suffer long COVID. So I think that when we're thinking about what the information is to give to people who are hesitant about vaccines, and I think that's what we need to be doing, is asking what is the hesitancy about and actually providing the correct information. The information that they need to see is the science, and that science says that exercise can suppress the immune system, it can increase your susceptibility to viruses, and can actually put you out of training for a very long time, much longer than a 1 or 2 day side effect of a COVID vaccine will. So I think it's about correcting the information and getting over that perception that their immune system is so healthy because they're healthy and that COVID won't have any impact. There's one thing that we've learned about this virus is, and until you get it, you will have no idea and no way of predicting how your body will react.
Okay, Professor Christine Loscher from DCU. Thanks so much for joining us, Christine. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Off the ball
On NewsTalk.
Climate change and sustainability are all anyone can talk about these days. But what do they actually mean? This week on NewsTalk, in association with SSE Airtricity, we're going green, and we want you to go green too. We'll be getting the view from activists and experts as we explore all of the ways Irish businesses can join Generation Green and help protect our environment, debunking the popular myths and finding out how we can all do our part by reducing our waste and energy consumption. Go green with NewsTalk and Ireland's largest provider of 100% green energy, SSE Airtricity. Follow the series on air and at newstalk.com/green.
You know how every part of your business works. Square is how it all works together. Square has tools to help you manage everything. Point of sale, online, payments, and so much more. So you can take your business anywhere and keep it all connected. With less work for you and more ways to stay open to what's next. Square, the shape of things to come. Visit square.com to learn more. Square Up International